When I was probably in middle school, I remember reading this wonderful book called The Christmas Mystery by Josephine Gardner. And a better title for this book actually might have been The Magic Advent Calendar, because in the book, that's what the entire plot revolves around, is this magic calendar. And there's a young boy in the story, Joaquin, who reads the other bit of the story from each of these little things, these little pieces of paper that come out of the magic Advent calendar each day. And each story tells a little bit about this young girl named Elisabet, who is going backwards in time. And it turns out, as we go through the Advent calendar, that we learn that Elisabet is actually gaining these new companions who all happen to have roles for the Christmas story. So people like the wise men and the shepherds, those kind of folks. So she's gathering all these people with her. And finally, on the 25th day in the calendar, Elisabet and the rest of the traveling party make it to Bethlehem. And all of her traveling companions have their own roles, their own things to do. So they go off and do all the different tasks that are required of them. And Elisabet, who's really been the glue holding this all together, who's had a lot of great responsibility already, she asks what she is supposed to do. And one of her companions tells her that her role is simply to go in and see the Holy Family, to be with them and see the Christ child, Jesus, who has just been born. Now, one of the things about the Christmas mystery that has stayed with me, that really spoke to me when first reading this book, is that at the end of each story, we get a moment with Elisabet where we hear her thinking, where we see the narration that she pondered, that she treasured these things in her heart. Pondered and treasured all the things that are going around her, all that she's experiencing on this crazy time-traveling journey. She's taking the time to think through what she's experiencing. Now that is very much the point of Advent, is pondering and treasuring these things, listening to what it is that God has to say to us. But another reason that what we hear with Elisabet in the Christmas mystery speaks to me even today is because it mirrors what we see Mary doing in our gospel, in the Christmas nativity narrative. Mary is pondering everything that's going on in her heart. She's treasuring these things as well. So that's a lesson to us from the Advent season, is to keep our hearts and minds open. But it's also a huge part of the Nativity season as well. Now, this service today is usually not the hustle and bustle of Christmas Eve. It's the calmer service. Even though it is the day of this feast, this feast of the Nativity. Our focus is really more on the Eve. And so this is a moment for us to be like Elisabet, to be like Mary, to take the time to be calm and quiet, to rest from our labors, to take in what it is that God is saying to us, and to ponder and treasure these things in our hearts. Now, lest we forget, the Nativity season is not one day. It's a 12-day long celebration. That gives us time, hopefully to rest. And it certainly gives us time to reflect, to ponder, to listen, to treasure what it is that God is saying to us. It's the lesson we get from Advent, and it's a lesson we carry over into this season of the Nativity now. So my hope is that you'll take the lessons of Advent, continue to ponder and treasure what it is that God is saying to you as we go through this 12-day long journey in this season of the Nativity.